Hello guys, welcome to our this series design lectures. I'm Yang from Opine Design Training Team. Today our topic is the introduction to 3D Home designs. 3D Home is an online design software for kitchen cabinets. Just as it sounds, we can design kitchen in 3D space, put in decorations, and use rendering picture to display it to our customers. More than this, after we finish designs, we can directly generate quotations and place order with it. So today we will cover its basic information, its interface, basic operations, and some helpful shortcut keys. So as a new software, before we really start working on it, we would like you to know some of its characteristics. So it has for sure, it has a couple of outstanding advantages that make us want to promote this software to you guys. The first one is a much lower learning cost. It's an online software and it's really easy to use that we hope to help all of our designers to be able to place orders independently this years through several rounds of online trainings by videos like this. And with this software, kitchen designs will be much easier and much more effective. So different from placing orders through AutoCAD drawings, that every designer has his own drawing habits. Maybe different people using different drawing legends. 3D Homes provides a uniform template that all designers are now starting from the same models, and we can do further modifications based on the same models. More than this, 3D Home has integrated all our production limits, all the available materials, and it can even help you do some basic checkings for are there any errors in your are there any errors in the plans, things like this. And 3D Home can directly export the production files, and um, that that one is the production files our factory is using now. So um, there will be much less communication errors. You don't need to um, you won't see any communication errors. Um, we don't have to draw the uh, plans again and ask you to double check it. So basically, it's less errors, easier to use. 3D Home is a smarter design tool for future, but it also has a couple of deficiencies, and we'll keep working to improve it. And maybe you can help us to find out the errors and find out the bugs. Sometimes the plan will crash, so we want you to save it every few minutes, just like the AutoCAD. Sometimes bug happens, so when you see some errors, you're having trouble working on it, or see something that's obviously wrong, talk to us and we'll fix it. 3D Home can well improve the efficiency for standard orders, but for non-standard designs, when you can't realize it with the standard models, you may need to attach your drawings and tell us what you're really looking for. Maybe also double check with us if that is allowed by our factories. So we will always we recommend you to try the standard models, try the standard structures, and avoid the non-standard ones as possible. So okay, so as you can see here, we are going work on Explorers. We are not going to download the softwares. Instead, we are going to finish the design work online, and so we need a PC for sure. And we want the we are expecting you to working with Windows 7 or higher operation systems and maybe 8 GB memories minimums. So otherwise the softwares may be lagging too hard to use. By the way, it's always use the Google Chromes. Always use the Google Chrome Explorers like I'm the one I'm using now. So um, since due to some compatibility issues, the plan is more likely to crash on other explorers. Okay, so to open the software, go to this website. It's home.3vja.com's 3D V3 index. So one thing you might see before it really allows you to start working is that you must install the Flash player. So and allows it to your explorer to open it. So for example, when I'm creating this one, um, it asks me to whether to run the flash now. I'm gonna select allow here and reload. Okay, wait for a few seconds. So this is the interface I'm going to see. I have to wait for a few minutes before it really jumps to the 3D Homes, the first page. So again, uh, another thing is that when you go to follow these links, it might direct you to the Chinese versions. It might ask you to log in before use. So you might want to save this and just put in this again if it jumps you to the leads you to the Chinese versions. Just put it again till you finally see these versions. Remember, if you see this page in Chinese, then you're going to the wrong working space. You must make sure that this one is English if you want to work in on the English versions. So for sure, we got two versions of this Chinese and English. So if you want to working on English, you need to follow this one. Okay, so the basic operations of 3D Home is combined by the uh, keyboard and mouse. So for the keyboards, for example, um, I want to do this again to show you how to do this. When I use mouse here, I click this and drag this out to the and use my left click, and then I can. This is the 2D view of a rooms. It automatically generates me a rectangular shape rooms, and let's move on for the basic operations. So the keyboards can control my uh, camera's movings in the 3D space or the rendering space. As you may see here, we got three working space. The first one is 2D, the second one is 3D. If we click on this one, then it will change us to the 3D working space. So for the basic operations, for the basic moving operations, I'm going to uh, go to the hotkey here. It's W, A, S, D, and Q, E. So W stands for moving forwards, S stands for moving backwards, A for left, D for right, just as video games, and the Q for going up, E for going down. Okay, so this is how you move your cameras in the working space. So if you might want to try this a few times till you are familiar with this basic operations. Make sure you can use these going forwards, going backwards, and going up and down as you wish. So as you may notice, I'm keep no matter where I move, I'm keep facing the same directions. So how do I change my directions? I use right click and drag the room and drag the space. No matter where I right click, I can right click moving right, and my vision is uh, moving rotating rightwards. If I'm moving up, my vision is rotating up, and if I'm moving down, my vision is rotating down. So as you might notice, I got two working space here. The first one is 3D. The second one is rendering working space. Okay, so when I click on a rendering working space, the first difference is that I directly go into the rooms. Okay, so and as you can see here, the second difference is that when I'm rotating the cameras, I'm rotating on the cameras based on the camera itself. So unlike the 3D space, when I'm rotating in the 3D space, I'm rotating around the kind of the middle of this room. So um, if I would like to uh, put in decorations, put in cabinets, I will more likely to work on the rendering space. And if I want to take an overview of the rooms, I would like to do it on a 3D space. Okay. Another difference is that in the 3D space you can move much quicker than in the rendering space. For example, uh, this is how the speeds are moving in the 3D space. But in the rendering space, as you can see here, I'm moving a lot more slower. So this allows you to do some accurate operations. So um, what else? Let me see. Okay, so the another operation is to roll in and to narrow or the amplifies your cameras using the middle buttons of your mouse. So if you roll the middle buttons backwards, uh, your vision is moving farther. If you rotate the middle of the mouse buttons inwards, your vision is going this way. Okay, so uh, to bigger to smaller, this is the basic operations. So when you're familiar with these operations, this is what you're looking for. You're looking for while you're moving, you can adjust your cameras. You can easily going up and down, uh, look up, look down, look left, look right. Okay, so this is the basic operations. Okay, so back to the 2D space. This is the room you just created, and we can adjust this room. So how do we adjust it? So we see these numbers right here. What does this number stand for? For example, the 7960 here. 7960 here stands for the distance between this wall to this wall. Notice that this is a net distance. Okay, so how do you adjust this 7960? For example, I would like to adjust this to 5000, which means I would like to make it smaller. What do? I don't click here. If Even though I want to adjust the length of this word, I'm not going to click on this word. I'm going to click on its adjacent words. This one, for example, I'm going to set this one, and you may notice that when I'm clicking on this word, okay, I'm adjusting its net distance to another word. Okay, so I'm actually adjusting the length of this one. So for example, so I'm putting 5000. As you can see here, the another one uh, stays in the same positions, and the one I just click on will move. Okay, so for now, if I try this one, I'm going to set this one back to the 7960. Then, as you may expect, I'm going to move this wall. Okay, this is how to adjust the size of the rooms. So the same logic, if I want to adjust these ones, I'm going to either select this ones or the this wall. So for example, I would like to um, set the numbers here to, for example, 8500 to make this room a little bit larger. So this is how do I adjust the basic space. And as you can see here, I can always click on the middle, anywhere of these rooms and drag it. Okay, if I uh, if I want to look something clear, I'm going to uh, amplify the windows by rolling my middle mouse buttons and make it bigger if I want to uh, see it somewhere else. Okay, so as you can see here, I can also drag the name here, and I can click on this and set the name of the space to, for example, kitchens, bathrooms. For example, so I'm going to set it to the living room for here. Uh, okay, this is the basic settings for the rooms. Another basic settings for the room is as you can see here, we are not only having the width and the length of the rooms, we're going to have the heights. So for the 2D space, if we enter the 3D space, we can pretty clearly see the wall here. Okay, so to help you really get a visions of what's in the rooms, um, something that's block your visions will be kind of this in this virtual wall looks like. No worry, this is the real walls. Uh, you're just getting it's just getting this to make you uh, be able to see what's really in the room. Okay, so if we going back to the 2D space, when we're clicking on one wall, Okay, as you can see here, we can adjust the wall thickness, 240s. Imagine I want to do a 120 thick wall right here, and I just type in the thickness right here. And if I want to adjust the wall height, how do I do? For example, I want to adjust this to 3 meters, which is 3000 millimeters. Can I just input a wall height right here? No, it does not allow you to adjust a single wall height settings. Okay, so it will tell you that the single wall height is not allowed to change right here. Why? Since imagine in the 3D space, if you make this 3 meters instead of 3400 millimeters, what happens? This walls will be a little bit lower, and this cannot be a nice space. So how do you adjust the height of the wall? You go to the tools, you go to the settings, and you set the overall room height. Okay, so this comes to our big uh, part right here. Okay, so the big top bar here contains a lot of buttons. The first one is going back, going backwards, and going forwards. So, for example, the last thing I do to the space here is that I adjust the thickness to 120 and make it back to 240. So if I imagine, and I also do some things right here, including um, adjust the overall or room's dimensions. But if you notice that if I click on somewhere here, I cannot go back. Okay, all right. So I cannot automatically get this back to 240. So I have to input 240 here if I want this to be full 240 again. So as you can see here, this function is not always working. Okay, so the second one is the files. You can either open a new file, open a local files, or go to My Plans to open a saved file. Okay, so this connects to the save options right here. The save options here is you got several ways of saving your plans. You can either save it to locals, or you can save it just to the crowns. Okay, for example, you save it to the crowns, you select save, you put a name for it, the scheme name for it, for example, 1, 2, 3. And save it, and ask you to save for a few seconds. So when you see this login before Pine Pass, you can always ignore this and close it. So when you go to the file, my plan right here, as you can see here, the 1, 2, 3 is just the file we just saved. So for now, you can click opens to open this file, and notice that it will always note you that the current designs will be cleared. So if you already designed something right here, be sure to save it before you open a new one. Okay, so for now, I'm just have just delete the last ones and open this existing file. Or if I save it to locals, uh, it will ask you whether to save the scheme locally. For example, I would like to save the. Okay, when I click the OK, it will wait for a few seconds, maybe 30 seconds like this, till this pop window comes out and asks you where to save the file. For example, I'm gonna name it as 123 again. It's gonna be a SWJ file that can only open right here. Gonna save it, file, open local, and I go to this one, select the 123.swj. Okay, so this is how that opens a local file. So another thing is that when you save something to locals, if you haven't put in anything right here, it will not automatically save the room for you. For example, if I go to the my crowns here, I put in the furniture. I put in the furniture combo right here, and then with a few seconds till it comes out. Okay, so I got these furniture combos in here. In a 3D space, it looks like this. It's a sofa combos. If now, for now, I save it to local. Mm. select Ready to Save logos and wait for probably a few seconds. Okay, now for example 123.2. And for now, if I open the logo file, it's not gonna be empty files. It will uh, tell you what's in the it will show you what's in the file, what has been already saved. Okay, this is file and save. Okay, so the third tool is the display options. So the displays is a counter words to hide. So this is different from hide. For hide, so if you want to show you how to display, we got to hide something first. For example, now we go to a 3D space or a rendering space. Okay, then we select this. We want to hide it. How do we do it? We press H for hide. If we press H, we're going to hide the whole things. And as you can see here, it disappeared. But uh, it's still here, but it's just invisible. Then how do we do it? We go to displays. We go to manage display objects. Okay, this is the list for what's been hidden, and you select this or select all if needed. You can either delete them or unhide them. Okay, so if you unhide them, this will be shown right here. The display options also manage a lot of stuff, including ready to display doors and windows, ready to display the ground lines, text, the furnitures, and accessories. So sometimes if you build a plans with the kitchen cabinets and you put in a lot of decorations, but later the customers would like to see like to see only the cabinets. What do you do? You go to the displays options here. You unselect the furnitures and accessories. Okay, so all furnitures and accessories will be hidden, and only the cabinets and the things, for example, countertops, will be left. Okay, so for now, we are going to select this and it will display. The tools here is there's not a lot of fully set models. The only thing we want to know here is the setup options. Okay, so the setup options is how you manage a lot of settings of the software, including the wall heights. So if you take a look at the left the left options right here, including the 2D state, 3D staters, CAD, globals, whole house customers, or operating, beginner's guides, and displays. So we're starting from take a look at a wall. So we're starting from the wall height. Imagine we want to change this to 30 hundredths. Okay, as you can see here, you might notice that the wall has been a little bit lower than was before. And if you take a focus on this again, change this to 32 hundredths. Okay, the wall is a little bit higher right now. And exterior wall thickness, this will be more visible in the 2D space. If we go to 2 setup, the thickness, imagine we don't want it to be 240s, we want it to be 200s. Okay, so what happens now is that this will not automatically be 240s, but if you put out a new one, look, this one, the wall thickness is now the 200s. So only the wall heights will adjust according to the setup. So for the other options right here, it's only affecting the new rooms, okay, or the next coming up rooms. Alright, so the other settings operating Windows background colors, this one we can ignore it since we can always adjust the window colors with the attaching pictures. So another one we want to pay attention now is the moving speed. Okay, so the moving speed is the uh, speeds we are moving in the running space or the 3D. So imagine if you want to move a little bit faster. This one is too slow for you. What do? You go to the moving speed here, make it a little bit higher like this. And you can see here I'm moving much quicker in this space. Okay, so this is how you adjust this. If you think this is too fast for you, go to the tools again, make this a little bit lower. Like I would say, I would recommend you to stay somewhere in the middle, something like this. Okay, this is still a little bit too fast. Gonna make it in the middle, like this. Okay, okay, now it's a pretty good speed. Not too fast, not too slow. I can easily adjust the directions, easily control my camera. So this is the basic for the walls and for the displays. You don't have to select the stuff right here. You can also always select it with the displays right here. The other options, starting from the 2D to 3Ds, and that's not a lot of stuff right here. You can take a look at it. Okay, so the first one, the 2D displays wall transparency. If you put it to, for example, 33%, as you can see here, in a 2D space, it's not gonna be a black wall. Instead, it becomes something like the kind of the gray colors. And the size displays, if you choose the displays, it will tell you the size. If you not, it will hide the background grids, the name, the name of the space. Again, if you select this, it will displays. If you don't want to select some things, if you want to hide some things, not only the mark, the name here, you can always go to setup options and unselect them. The 3D space is kind of easy. It's generating the ceilings, kickboard, something like this. I'm not gonna working on this to change this a lot. And the only one things you might want to notice is the uh, the CAD inch markings. So if you select this, what's being exported will be in the inch mark. So if you have to use inch in your space, especially in the United States, the Americans, maybe you can select this ones and before you export the CAD file. Alright, so this is the basic settings for the rooms and how you adjust it, how you adjust the wall heights, the wall dimensions, how do you the basic operations. And to delete a space, click somewhere in the middle. You can either press the delete in your keyboard or press the delete right here. It will ask you to double check whether to delete it. Select OK and move on. Okay, so if I still delete this as well. Okay, so this is the basics uh, for the top bars. Okay, the rest two are not something really important for now. The first one, the one is export CAD drawings, and you can as well export the whole files right here. Okay, and the second one is doing the whole house quotations, and this function is not yet ready, but I believe it will be ready in a few weeks. So hopefully you'll be able to use starting asking the software to generate a quotation for you starting probably in the middle of the August. Okay, so the last one, the help here, it can tell you some hot shortcut key informations. Uh, the three most used shortcut keys are the escape if you want to cancel your selections. H stands for hide and V stands for switch. Okay, so you got three working space right here, the 2D, 3Ds, and the rendering. So if you press V, okay, now you're in the 3D space, in the rendering space. If you put a room right here, again, you're in the 2D space, to 3D space right now, and if you press V again, you are in the rendering space. So imagine you have lost your visions, for example, somewhere right here, you're not sure where to move, what do? You can either click on F when you're not too far away from the rooms, or you can click on the middle of this. Okay, the middle of this button can always direct you back to the room. Okay, no matter how far you are, I'm pressing E all the way down. Press this one. and you're going to back to the middle of the room. Okay, so last time we used the draw from shape to directly drag out the shape. Okay, follow the ways like this. We can drag out a lot of shapes, a lot of different shapes, and uh, we can enlarge the picture to display all of them. Or I, if I want to, if I don't like any of the space right here, I can draw my own one. Okay, so I got two options right here. The first one is draw wall, and the second one is interior painting wall. So if I'm not sure about the dimensions, these two are actually the same stuff. So they're actually the same stuff right here. No matter what you do, they are they're the same tools, just drawing the wall. So the ways of drawing wall is click on this, select a beginning point, click it, and then select the next point. Okay, just like drawing a line to design lines or line segments in the starting points and in the end point. Okay, so and this will automatically help you to goes to the 90 degrees, goes to the same length, and this one. Okay, and you press right click to stop drawing a wall, and you double press right click to exit the drawing walls working space. So for example, I would like to uh, delete most of my rooms right here and show you what's the difference between these uh, three drawings. So I'm gonna put this in a little bit. So the only difference of these two drawings is when you are doing some accurate drawings, you want to make sure the wall is exactly the length you want. Then you do this. When you're using the drawing wall, you select this starting points of a line segment. For example, you would like to draw a 5,000 length wall. Then what can you do now is that you can just press 5,000, input these numbers, and press enter. Okay, so before you press enter, you want to select the line directions you want. You put your mouse right here. You input 5,000 and press enter. So you get this line. For example, I would like to do 3,000 here. Okay, so you may notice when I'm putting the 5,000, what happens? I only got 47 and 60 for this part. And my wall thickness is 240. Okay, so what's the 5,000 means here? It means here the starting point is the 5,000 stands for the middle of this wall to the middle of this wall, and because it will be 5,000. What if I draw using the interior painting wall? If I use this one, then 5,000 will be 5,000. 3,000, 5,000, 5,000. Okay, as you can notice that now with this interior painting wall drawings, okay, so my net distance between these two walls is gonna be 4,520s, and this excluded these two walls, which is both 240 width. So adding these two walls, the length of this sides, the length of this walls is gonna be exactly 5,000. Okay, this is the ways um, you want to do with the drawing wall. So imagine you know the accurate size of the rooms. Maybe it's a better way to use the second one, the interior painting wall. And as you may notice that whenever I draw a space, the ground will automatically generate. Okay, so for example, I draw a space like this, and I stop drawing. It will not automatically generate me a ground. Why? Since this space is not closed. If I draw a line between these 2 points, as you can see here, uh, I have automatically get my ground generated. So whenever you see something like this, uh, for example, uh, you notice that this is a closed space. So if you see something like this, even if it looks really like a closed space, it's not a closed space. Okay, so there must be some weird that's not closed like this one. All right, so if you see something like this without a without a floor, you might have to uh, redraw the room. Okay, so after drawing the room, I'm gonna link these two together so that I can delete this room easily. Alright, so after I put in the rooms, what the next step is to put in the necessary structural components. Alright, so I got three options right here: the pillar, the platform, the beam. Gonna put in each one of them and take a look at them. Alright, so if I go to the 3D space, and now I don't have my rooms, I'm gonna click on the middle of this one, and now my room is available right here. Okay, so I got my pillar, my platform, and my beam. So as you can see here, in the 3D space, okay, or in the render space, okay, I would like to make this room a little bit larger. Okay, as you can see, now I can always drag this. I can select one of this to drag them to make this room larger. So now I want to make it larger to make my operation easier. Okay, so for now, for example, uh, when I select some things, and as you can see here, I got these options right here. I can select some things, check the detail information of it, I'll select the color of it if I really want to, but now for now I'm not gonna change its colors. I can add it to favorites if I have select designer pillars or something that I would really like to. And for this part, uh, this is the materials and the textures. We're going to talk about this later. So for now, we're going to hear about how to adjust its dimensions, and we're going to go back to our 2D space. Okay, so for example, I click on the pillars, and it will show its width, length, and height. The height will be the same as the room height automatically, and the width and length it's flexible for change. For example, if I put in 650 times 650, and I got a bigger pillar. So same logic for the platforms. Imagine I'm having a square shaped platforms, and this is it. And for the beam, same logic. I can adjust its width, length, and height, and even the off-ground distance. Okay, so after this, I can put in the structural components. I can work on doors and windows. So for the simple doors and windows, I can use this standard models. Gonna put in each one of them and show it. So this includes a single door, a double door, and a sliding door. If I go to the 3D space, this is how it looks like. So I got a bigger double door, and I got this sliding door. So if we select this ones, And as you can see here, I got the rotate option, and this allows me to rotate the opening directions of this door. Leftward, left door, inner left door, inner right door, outer left door, out right door. Select on this, rotate it, opening innerwards or outwards. You can select the width, height, the same way for the sliding door. Select the width and height. There's no point of rotating this, but you can see this is how the windows is openings, different opening ways. For the rectangular wall, for the rectangular windows and the French windows, for the windows we care about the height, the width, and the most important is the off-ground distance. Usually it's 900 and sometimes it's 1200. It depends. So if you really want to take a look at the effects, go to the 3D space or the rendering space. I personally will prefer rendering space more since it's rotating around the camera itself instead of rotating around some mystery axis of the space. So got this window right here, got this big window right here. Imagine I want to make this bigger or wider. I can either drag this one, drag the end point of it to make it smaller, bigger, or I can just input a width right here. Okay, so this is the basic design for the space. So I got a lot of parts right here, including the top bar, the workspace, the design parts, and the camera parts. Okay, so for the design parts, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 big categories. The second category is for samples. This is some pre-built samples you can show to your customers really quick, but other than that, this have no other values. So we can open a sample like this. Notice that the current design plan will be cleared. If I don't want to save it, I can press OK. And it will request the data, and you will get a sample room, maybe a sample room for master bedrooms, maybe a sample kitchens, maybe a sample living rooms, or something like this. You can show to your customers what the final effect looks like. Okay, so for example, this is a sample bedroom, master bedroom, with the wardrobe, the beds, and the TV. So we're not going to study this too much on this part. We're going to focus on the third and fourth parts. So these two parts are the most important parts of the software. The third part is including all kinds of decorations, no matter the hard decorations and the soft decorations. Okay, as we know, the hard decorations including the categories right here, follow the categories right here, including windows, doors, ceramic tiles, floors, wallpapers, the coatings, and the background walls, and it has integrated the furniture, all kinds of furniture right here for kitchens, for bathrooms, for living rooms. It got these combos for you, the sofa combos, the TV cabinet combos, maybe even bathroom combos, and all kinds of decorations, including the lights, furniture, and all kinds of appliances, including the music instruments, the TV, air conditioners, and the appliances in kitchens, and the toolings right here. Okay, so we're going to have a special parts. Uh, uh, we're going to in the next videos we're going to do a detailed introduction for the stuff right here. But for now, let's go back to jump to our next categories, the custom. Okay, so for now, for me, I got many channels right here, including the paving, the top wall, the hydropowers, and wardrobes, the kitchen. But notice that that's only one channel useful. Okay, the kitchen channel. The other channels are not well done yet, and maybe in your accounts, the kitchen channel is the only one available. But no worries, you're not going to need the other channels not right here. The other channels are only for the rendering pictures, and they do not have a lot of models in it. So in other words, the other channels are kind of useless right now. And for the kitchen channels, you're going to be able to select different detailed channels based on your regions, and you start design the kitchen cabinets, and you do more designs on it. Okay, so and the last part is the mine part. Okay, this stands for all kinds of uh, stuff you like, you save. Okay, so for example, you go to crowns, you find out I like this Windows a lot. I would like to find it, kind of add it to my favorites. I click on the star right here. Okay, so now it's being added to my collections. So for example, I'm adding to the uncategorized collections and categorize. Okay, now I got my nice window right here. Okay, so in this ways, I can save some stuffs that I like a lot. I don't have to look it out uh, in the crowns every single time. So this is the basic 5 categories. Um, I may have explained this clear, may have not. I'm going to explain the working procedures again. You start from the house, you set up the rooms, put in the basic structural components, and then we go to the crowns. We find out fill in the hot decors, the doors, windows, tiles, floors, and we start working on the custom channels, the kitchen cabinet channels. In these channels, for example, we're going to find out, put in the cabinets, all kinds of cabinets, and do further modifications. For example, the base cabinets, the middle cabinets, upper cabinets. So basically the logic is this. You go follow the categories, you follow the subcategories, and follow the subcategories, and until you find out the one you want. For example, so I'm going to looking for the base cabinets, one door, one drawer cabinets. I'm going into the base cabinet categories, going to the drawer cabinets subcategories, going for the drawer plus door subcategories. And now I have several options of the combination of door and drawers. And would like to use, if I would like to use a single drawer and single door, this is the one I want. So imagine I'm putting on new room, dragging on new room, and I would like to take out a cabinets for a sample. Alright, going to the drawer cabinets, the subgroup drawer plus door. And I take out a single drawer and single door cabinets. So again, I drag this out and put it to the rooms, and I have to wait for probably 15 seconds or 10 seconds. It depends on the loading speed. Okay, so I got this loading speed right here. As you may notice that I click on this and drag it out to the room. It does not appear immediately, and I do not want to lose my mouse, and I do not want to lose my left click. Otherwise, these ones will probably, for example, if I lose right now, what happens to the cabinet? It will not display. It will disappear, and maybe it will fall into some other parts of the space. Okay, so for example, this one, if I lose my mouse right here, it will accidentally uh, jump out of the room. Now I can delete stems and re-drag the cabinets I want. Okay, so for now, if I want to return to the main menus, I can click on the returns, and this is the basic uh, introductions for the design parts. And for the last part, this part has a nice camera views. What is it for? This is for the rendering picture. So the rendering pictures, imagine we click on the middle one right here, the effect map, and we click on the rendering effects. We gotta save this first. 1, 2, 3, sample. Okay, so Now it allows me to adjust my cameras and choose the nice directions I want, and I can generate some rendering pictures to show my customers what does uh, the final effect looks like. Imagine I put it to a sample uh, bedroom, and I would like it to show something like this. Okay, then this will be, for example, I would like to use these directions and this, and I click on the determine renderings, and this will generate me rendering pictures. And sure, it takes a few minutes. Okay, so for now, if it shows the rendering pictures renderings for now, and if I uh, finish waiting for a few minutes, and it will display me how the gonna wait for a few seconds till this come out. Uh, Normally, it's for the standards uh, rendering pictures, especially for the standard definitions. It takes probably a few minutes, maybe 1 to 2 minutes. Okay, now my rendering picture comes out, and this will be the effects I can show to my display to my customers. Okay, so again, today we do a brief introduction to the 3D homes. Uh, we review the basic backgrounds for these softwares, take a look at the interface, and take a look at the basic operations. Remember the WASD QE to move my cameras, and combine with my mouse to move the camera direction, and the interface, including the top bars, the settings, the sign sections, uh, the 3D working space, the basic setting for the rooms, and the rendering models. Okay, so this is the our introduction to 3D homes. Hope this helps you. Again, thank you all for watching the videos. I'm Yang. Hope to see you next time.